Hi, I'm Brian Poole. You're here today for blended learning, and I made a really long title. Apparently, I should have shortened that up a little bit. I am the technology coordinator from National Trail Local Schools. I also teach half a teacher's load of advanced computer science classes as well, so I do both. I teach and I maintain all of our technology as far as our servers, PCs, user accounts, all that. So I kind of do both sides of the hat. Just to give you a little background on our demographics, we are a K through 12 all-inclusive complex. We have approximately 1,100 students in that K through 12. We're a very rural farming district, no industry, and I will say that on the economic scale, we're on the low end of the economic scale. So the things we've done as a district, we've done on a fixed budget. We don't have a lot of money to do stuff with. I will say that we managed to get the Ohio Blended Learning Grant for our high school, which funded a large portion of this initial startup stuff, but some of it we had in the works that we were thinking about doing anyway. It just made it a no-brainer for us. So some of the stuff I'm going to go through was funded through that. As far as our PCs, every single PC that we have in the district is from a program called the Department of Defense Computers for Learning program, which allows you to get rotated out PCs from the Air Force or any other military branch and refurb them and use them in our school. Other than those PCs, in the time I've been there since 2003, we've bought less than a dozen PCs. So we buy parts to refurb those. We have gone through 3 generations of upgrades over those years as well. And like I said, we got the 2012 Ohio Blended Learning Grant. Now, I did not know I was going to follow Heather Staker immediately after when I built this. So some of it is a review. So did anybody not go to her thing just now? Okay, so for the handful of people, I'm going to kind of give a glossary of blended learning in general and where we went, where we're going. And if you went to her thing, we are the definition of her hybrid school right now, without question. So what I'm talking about is basically from her book, this one, The Rise of K-12 Blended Learning, and it's just interpreted by me. So it may not be verbatim, but it's how I interpret it, everything that she's put out. Her definition of blended learning from her report was anytime a student learns at least part in a supervised brick and mortar location away from home and at least part online, and I underlined it and highlighted that section, which is the important section that we have to stress to teachers, that there has to be some control by the student for it to be blended. If I'm standing in front of you playing a PowerPoint or a YouTube video or something I found online to you as a classroom, it may be online content, but it is not blended. You have no control right now of where we're going in this session. So although resources may be online, if you have no control, it is not blended learning. That's the important part of blended learning. They have some kind of control of how they access that and the rate in which they do it. So that's the important point that I'm going to come back to again. So this is a graphic out of her paper. It's a combination of formal learning and online learning with that student control in there. And same thing, they have control over either time, place, path, or pace. And our definition, our big thing is pace. Is that if they have no control over pace when they're doing stuff, then what's the difference between that and a traditional environment? I want to be able as a student, if I need to remediate and watch this again, like she pointed out, watching the Khan Academy video 20 times before maybe I get it and you glossed right by it because you remember it from last year, that's control over pace. How often and the rate at which I get that material. So our school is a rotation model school, which when her hybrid definition, that's exactly where we are. In fact, we're with the grant, every class in our high school is doing the rotation model, and we kind of left it open to our teachers the way that they're rotating, whether they're going to do station, rotate with the labs, do flipped classrooms, or do some kind of individual rotation model. But really the top three are the big ones that we're hitting, and how we're using YouTube, which is what we're going to talk about in a minute, to bring those things together. So the rotation model, basically you're doing traditional instruction, you're doing online/blended learning at your own pace, and whether you do that as a class where we go to a lab, whether I give you time during my traditional class to do something, or whether I do it as an at-home assignment, is all rotation models that we look at, and we're allowing teachers to decide which one they want to do. So blended is self-paced online. Online, therefore, is any time they go on the internet and access videos, websites, data, links, any online access at their pace is what we're bringing together for our blended learning. So that's the model that we're using in our school. What we're doing, or what our committee has set forth, is that every teacher tries to get a blended learning lesson every week into every class. That's our goal for this semester. And if you know anything about the Blended Learning Grant, it started in January. It was funded basically over the summer, is when we got the finances to put things into place. But it actually started in January of this year, with a lot of training going on up front for us, for our teachers. So that's what we're looking for. Whether they do it in or out of class, like I said, is up to the individual teacher. Our objective is to deliver that online content and do activities with that control by students in or out of class. So we talked a lot with teachers initially about what online content is available to them now, without any work by you other than Google searching and looking for it. No content creation, really. There's tons of things available to you already online. Those being existing YouTube, TeacherTube, Khan Academy, Neo K-12, Watch and Learn, and there are tons of resources out there. And those are video resources. On top of that is all the online stuff that you can have students read, doing web quests that are out there for them to use. So we wanted to point out that initially as a thing for teachers. But one of the things we heard from a lot of teachers is there's not stuff that's working out perfectly for my class. It's not right at my lesson. I couldn't find this. And that's where we really started going to YouTube and developing our own content and trying to get teachers to get what they're doing right now online. So that's where we started looking at teacher-made content already made by teacher posted, but also stuff that we're making ourselves. One of the things that we have to stress, and that every person I've ever talked to that's already doing a flipped classroom stresses, is it's not a today thing that you're doing. It is impossible for you to go and say, I'm flipping my class the rest of the year. Okay? Unless you're a person that doesn't sleep at all, has no children and no spouse, that would be impossible. It's a building process that if you do one lesson a week this year and you build up a repository of your own stuff, you get to the point where you've got that and you can totally flip your class. But too many times when we talk about these lessons, our staff all of a sudden, oh my God, there's no way I can do all that today. Well, you're not trying to do it all today. Think about next year. Think about the year after. A lot of teachers that have been really successful flipping their classroom, the most successful year is their third year doing it. So you can't look at it just as today. You have to look at it as a on down the road thing. Okay? So it's not about building online lessons this year. It's about future years. One of the things we're really trying to get our teachers to do is to digitize the classes that they're given right now. And that takes absolutely no time for you to do. And it's one of the things that we're really pushing. To do that, we added a whole bunch of tools, some of which we already had, some of which we added to the classroom. Okay? So we already had digital whiteboards in 90% of our high school classes. The remaining ones we purchased and added them to, and really probably 95. Everybody either had a smart board or a Memrio board. If you've got Promethean or any of the other vendors out there, they all work the same. They all let you do digital content on your whiteboard that you're working on. So we already had those. What we added was everyone got a document camera like this one, and everybody got a microphone like this one. And they didn't get them sitting around. They're actually mounted above their whiteboard in their ceiling. So it's not something you have to go and set up or set out. Over the summer, I have a student intern that I get every summer. I get $1,000 worth of time from one student every summer. And that's, when I hire them, that's what you're going to work as many hours until you get $1,000, and then you're done. So that was one of the things that I did with them this summer, was to hang these up. So that's some of the stuff that we purchased. We also got LiveScribe pens for limited classes, those being the math teachers all get them and science teachers that ask for them. We haven't really had any science teachers ask for them yet. And we also got flip video cameras that are available for sign out. And right now, the only teacher that has one permanently signed out is our art teacher, which uses it to record when she's doing stuff for pottery. She's making pottery videos, how to center the clay, stuff like that. So we're trying to help teachers make their own content. And this is the investment I just said, and the cost that we're looking at. These blue snowflake mics, honestly, I got them for $45, but the last time I looked, they were closer to $70, and they do a really nice job. I can walk almost anywhere in the room and talk, and it's going to pick it up. You can't whisper. But that's why you put it right over top of the smartboard, because most of the time, if a teacher's up here, they're probably talking in this area too, right? Besides those mics, we invested in expanding our Wi-Fi, because we went to a one-to-one initiative as well. So every single room has Wi-Fi, which I'm going to show you the Wi-Fi that we got, as well as the IPEVO document cameras. They're not $85. They're less than that. It was $85 if you buy the extended stand, which after you try this one and see how short it is, it's worth getting the stand. And those work great. And I already said we had those other two tools. So some things that we have put out to them when they're doing lessons, try to cut them into segments of 15 minutes or less. Because really when we're teaching, we're not teaching, we're on a block schedule. We don't teach 80 minutes straight. We teach something and then do something and teach something and do something usually. So as you're building that content, break up your videos just like that. And if you're going to post it, think of it as a portion of a traditional class, not the whole class. And the other thing we said, if we're going to post those things online, and I'm going to show you how we're doing that, there should be some kind of assessment just so you know the students were there and accessed your content too. And I'll show you some of the ways we're doing that. Things we have worked through our teachers how to do, and I'm going to show you a couple of those steps. We are a Google Apps district. We use Google Apps for Educators, which if you don't have it, it's free for your district, costs you nothing. And along with that, all of our teachers have YouTube accounts. None of our students do. One of the great things about using Google Apps for Education is, as the administrator for that, I can turn on and off whatever features of Google Apps I want to. So all my students just have email and Google Docs, and basically all my staff has all the rest of Google Apps available to them. So we set up our YouTube site correctly. I'm going to show you that in a second. If you've ever used YouTube, you may be under the false impression that YouTube still limits you to 15 minutes, because it used to. In about 2 minutes you can eliminate that, and it turns it into 12 hours per video. Hopefully you don't make a 12-hour classroom video. So you could record your whole 80-minute class if you want to and upload it to YouTube, and it'll be there in HD or whatever quality you recorded it at for free. We suggest our teachers record, upload, delete, because you don't need every single class on your hard drive. You just put it on YouTube. Make sure you got it uploaded before you delete it. As far as recording, right now I'm recording this class. I'm going to post it on our site. I'm using the Smart Recorder. Mimeo has a recorder, and if you don't have those two, I'm sure Promethean has one. And if you don't have that and you just have a projector and you're using your mouse on your computer, if it's a PC, you can download Microsoft Encoder. It's free. It lets you record the screen capture and the audio just as well. The great thing about using YouTube is it doesn't matter what format you record in. it's going to convert it when you upload it, and everyone's going to be able to access it. We had done this as a process before uploading it into our Moodle site. We all recorded using Media Encoder. It saved it as a WMB file, and as long as you were on a Microsoft PC, you could see the video. If you're on a mobile device or a Mac, you couldn't. So we wanted to get around those limitations. Every time we start recording, you want to make sure that your mic's the default mic, because if I start recording and do a whole class and I get no audio, that kind of stinks. And then we upload that recording to YouTube, and then we link it to our Moodle site, and is our normal process. If you've ever used YouTube and you didn't know there was a 15-minute limit, you could eliminate it. When you click on upload on YouTube, there's just, and after you set up your site, which, by the way, if you don't know, you only get to name your site once. It says right there you cannot change the name, so if you're using a school account, you may want to make it appropriate. Because you can't change that later. But after you start the upload, down on the bottom right hand corner, there's a little link down there that says increase your limit. All you have to do is click on that. You have to have a text account, because it's going to ask you for a phone that it's going to text you a code to. It texts you within 20 seconds. You put the code in your YouTube site, and boom, the 15-minute limit is gone. So, and they do that so that you can't do the 15-minute limit on multiple sites. Of course, if you have multiple phones, you could, but it's a limiting feature for them to keep you from doing it on tons of sites. We're asking our teachers to think about recording every single class every single day. Why? The why for is because of next year. I've been recording my classes and uploading them for 2 years now. When I want to do a flipped classroom, all I have to do is pick one. I can download it, I can chop it up on YouTube in general, and then I can link it into a lesson. I don't have to make the new content. I taught it last year. Now, if you change the subjects every year, that doesn't work. If you're at a school that moves you around a lot, you can be easily frustrated if that's the case. But if you start recording your content this year, next year you're going to be way ahead, and the year after that. And yes, they change, and I delete YouTubes from 2 years ago if I recorded the class again this year. And I record them all, but I don't upload them all. I teach hardware first and second block. I record both first and second block, but in one of them somebody said something stupid, maybe. I don't need them both online if I taught the same lesson. So I'll upload both of them, and it's for next year. And so, like I said, sometimes I'll upload what I consider the best class. If they were both good and I had different questions, I might upload them both. Eventually, you end up with a repository on your YouTube site of all these lessons. Now, just so you know, if you upload to YouTube, doesn't mean you have to share it. You could use that as a place to hold all kinds of videos, and no one ever sees them, no one can ever find them. Because YouTube has privacy settings, and if we say it's private, no one else will ever see it until you're ready to make it public or to link it to a particular class activity. So you don't have to worry about that. And I do videos that are screen captures like the one I'm doing now. I do videos where I use the IPVO camera, and I'll use a USB extension, and I'll have it set up because maybe I'm doing something on a PC. I'll have it set up where it's pointed down into the PC, and I'll do a recording while I'm walking through how to remove memory or how to put in a hard drive right. Well, I can't do a screen capture of that. This camera does a pretty good job. I'll show you well, I'll show it to you in a minute how it works, but it's pretty good, and for 85 bucks it's great. So we're really happy with them. So eventually you end up with a repository, and then what we have suggested all of our teachers do is to make playlists of those classes. So in this instance down here, this is my chapter section, and if you see right down here, it says class videos posted to YouTube. I have playlists for that chapter. So I think I have it linked in so I can go to it. Maybe I don't. I'll go to it in a second. Yeah, I don't have I just have a screen capture of the camera. Okay, so if they clicked on that link, they would go to the playlist for that one. This is actually my YouTube site, but if they went to the playlist, they go to and see the playlist of everything I upload that I said is part of chapter 5. So if I have a student who misses class, and Adam comes in and says, I wasn't in class last week, what do we do? I say go sit down, and I have one PC set up in the corner during intervention that's for makeup work. So when a student comes in, because we don't have time as teachers to reteach a class. You know, what did I used to say? Oh, check with Jim for the notes, right? Because I can't reteach a whole 80-minute class. I can say, well, we went over this section, see so-and-so for the notes because I know they take good notes, but now I can say go over there and take the class. Or make sure you do it online. They know that all the classes are posted up online. I've already got the playlist made and linked to my Moodle site. So as soon as I upload a video, I just say it's part of Chapter 5 playlist, and it's automatically on there. There's very little work involved for me on a daily basis. Hit record, I hit stop, I click on upload, and then I say what chapter it was and I walk away, or I start the next class while it's uploading. In Moodle, first of all, who is not a Moodle district? Are there a lot of people that aren't Moodle in here? Okay, about a third aren't. If you don't know what Moodle is, it's a learning management system, much like Blackboard, WebCT, which I don't even know if it's around anymore. Did Blackboard buy out WebCT, I think? And there are other Schoology, there's all kinds of content and learning management systems you can use. I'm going to show you how I do it on Moodle, but I guarantee you there's a way to do the same thing in yours. To link the content to yours, to make individual lessons in yours. And one of the big reasons, like I said, that we use YouTube is its accessibility. And there was a second one. When we went to this blended learning model, we wanted to make sure that every student would have access to them. And we used Android tablets, and there's a app called TubeMate that we put on all of our tablets. And so when they click on a YouTube video in any web thing, it opens in TubeMate, and TubeMate gives them the option of downloading the video instead of just watching it online. So if I have a student that I say, hey, here's a flipped assignment, you need to watch this before next class, they know it's their responsibility if they don't have Wi-Fi at home to download the video now, which takes about 30 seconds. They download really quickly, and now they have the video on their tablet, and I don't have to worry about, you know, Joe doesn't have Wi-Fi, he can't do the assignment. And they don't need Wi-Fi, they need internet, obviously, because if they have regular internet, they can do these assignments all on a PC as well. So here's some different ways that we do it on our Moodle, is through lesson modules, assignment modules, and quizzes. And like I said, you could do any online content. I'm specifically talking about videos and using YouTube today, so I'm not going to show you any example of those. This is an example of one of my assignment modules that I gave as a flipped assignment. I'm actually going to go to this one online and hope that it opens up good. This is a pre-class assignment that I gave my students so that we could get to work right away when they came in. One of the things my hardware students do is we go around to every single class in the district, and when we're on the memory session or section of my course, we test the memory of every single PC in the district. So every year, every single PC's memory gets tested, and when they've gone around and tested 50, 60 PCs, I do not even have to question whether they know how to do this at the end of the course. They definitely know. We do the same thing with hardware. So this is basically really short YouTube videos that they had to watch. This one I think is like 1.5 minutes, and I used this camera to capture that one because it was looking at a tablet and I wanted them to see, and my connection's not great. There we go. 1 minute and 37 seconds on how to use the Ultimate Boot CD memory scanner. And I have it connected to sound. There we go. We don't need to watch it, so you get the idea. So they can go right online and watch that video, and then underneath this one there was a second video that was, I think, 4 minutes long, which showed how to use a different online scanner. So altogether these are 6 minutes worth of videos. The idea is not that I have to give 80 minutes worth of content when I flip a class. A lot of times we spend exorbitant amount of times recovering material for the weaker student in class. We say 5 times how to do the same kind of algebra problem, right? Because Joe got it the first time I went over it, but Jim's, I know he still doesn't have it because I just called on him after the 4th time, and this problem's not that much different, right? You don't have to give that many examples because they can relook at the one that you gave them or the 2 that you gave them. In fact, what I've suggested to math teachers to think about doing is when you do problems during first block and you record first block, do different problems second block. So that now my student has first and second uploaded, and if I was in first block, I say, Joe, you know what? I'm not sure if you got that. Why don't you watch the second block video, because I did some different problems, and maybe that'll make more sense to you. So now they have twice as many examples if you record slightly different examples of the same kind of problems. So on this lesson in general, all the students had to do on this one, please edit the online text at the bottom and simply enter your name to indicate you have been here and watched the short videos. So they would go down here. Oh, I'm not logged on. But if I was logged on, down here at the bottom of the page, it has a little button that says edit your submission, and it brings an online text thing. And I require that for two reasons. Number one, like right now, I'm a guest, and all my courses are open for anybody to see. So if the student clicked on it and went here as a guest, I would never ever know they watched the video. Requiring them to simply type in their name made them log in, and now they're on all my reports that they were at that activity. And I can easily go in and just assign 2 points for did you put in your name, and it shows up on their grade book too. Okay? So this one was a relatively easy assignment as far as that goes. I've got another example of what I did with the quiz, and this is what I do oft times. It's the same kind of activity. In this case, this is an actual Moodle quiz. So the front page of the Moodle quiz has the videos that they're supposed to watch. There we go. So they watch these 2 videos, and then after they're done, they hit enter the quiz, and they take the quiz. It makes them watch the videos first, and the quiz is actually an essay. In this case, give me 2 points you learned from this online video, and then I go in and I grade all the essays and make sure they give me 2 things of feedback, which is better than just giving their name. But actually on the other video, I don't know that there was something I could say, what's some overwhelming thing you learned on how to use this CD. So sometimes I require something very simple just to make sure I know that they did it. And sometimes there's a quiz with an open essay, you can do multiple choice, something like that at the end of it, just to verify that the student did the activity that you uploaded. Okay, so a couple of examples. I'm going to show you how easy it is that once you have a repository made to incorporate YouTube in your class, and how easily the videos can be embedded. So I use all 3 of these: assignments, quizzes, journals. I didn't put lesson down there at the bottom. But I'm going to show you how easy it is to embed a YouTube video back in. Now I'm going to have to log in here. And just so you know, we're on Moodle 1.9. That is not the current version, and that's because we did a lot of custom editing to our Moodle. So we don't have the most current version up right now, but you'll see that it works about the same. So at the bottom of all my sections, I have a link to my class videos posted to YouTube, so a student can go there, and I'm just going to grab a link to a YouTube video. Let's see if I plug in. It might speed me up. So I'm going to go to 1, and this was a 19-minute recording of the class, and that's what I was saying. A lot of times I'll just start recording, stop when we get to a logical break in the class, and then start up again. I don't really need to let this load, so I'm going to, if you grab a YouTube video, just so you know, you want it to be all the way through YouTube up to the and sign, because I don't want the list, so I'm just going to grab this text right here at the top of the URL for the YouTube. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into my class and show you how easy it is to embed a YouTube video in there if you've never done one of those before. Now I'm going to make an activity that's going to be online text for this one. So I'm going to click online text. I have an area that I put all these pre-class assignments in. The act of adding it is just dropping the link in there. So I've added the link. I've said, please give me a list of 3 new items that were covered in this video. In general, I make these pre-class assignments very low points. And I'm going to put it in my formative category for the semester or for the quarter. And that's all there is to it.
Okay.
So
Today's goal is the first part with 3 memory lessons altogether.
we're not going to actually watch the whole video. So,
And the following Tuesday is to understand memory. Okay?
oh, that's
So first of all, what's
my link starting over here that just finally loaded. Okay, so I've embedded the video in there. It asks for 3 items, and basically all they'll do is they'll watch that video, they'll click edit the submission. It opens up this text box at the bottom where then my students can type in their response to whatever my question was or whatever the point I wanted them to make. I don't always have to have a graded item in there. It's just if I do, I have a better possibility of everyone reading it. One of the things that's been brought up by our teachers is, well, are they all going to watch it? And I'm like, do they all do the homework every time? They don't. You know, you don't get 100% of your students doing every homework. You're not going to get 100% of your students watching the video. You may find that the student that didn't do the homework is the kid watching the video, though. That some of the, it's funny, but some of my more advanced kids are the ones like, I already knew that, Mr. Poole, I didn't need to watch the video. And my kids that are having more trouble are the ones that click on the video and watch the video. So you might see a little bit of disparity on your old performance and your new performance when you go to doing something like this, which was kind of an interesting thing. So you can see it was pretty easy. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
Specifically, one more, the supplies you need to do that, to capture, to record your class. You mentioned at the beginning a microphone and what?
Yeah, I mean, really, as long as you have a digital whiteboard and a microphone, that's all you need. I mean, having the camera is nice because if I'm a teacher who wants to put up a page of text or I want to show something or I'm a lab teacher, I mean, you could do a whole, record the whole chemistry lab with this up on your desk because it does a relatively nice job. Whatever class you have, I have a teacher who puts it in the back of her class because she wants to be on the video. She wants them to see them teaching. So she has it in the back of her class, using it as a camera, and she just records it that way. The recording software, I don't know of a digital whiteboard that doesn't come with a recorder. They record with different formats, but you don't care. Because if you're uploading to YouTube, no matter what format it was, it's in whatever format YouTube's in, right? And most people know how to download YouTube. I can go to any YouTube page, I've got a Firefox add-on, and I can download the video, just like that TubeMate app on the Android device lets me download the video right to my device. Of course, students have found that it lets them download YouTube music really easily too, so because it lets you pick what format in TubeMate.
Is your slideshow available?
Yeah, oh, I had that on the very front. I'll go back to it, and I put it on the website, but it's not there. I don't know why. So it's a shared Google Doc, and I've got a tiny URL. It's just tinyurl/blended learning. I'm 90% sure that's what I. Oh, I'm sorry. It's blended eTech is what I made it. So it's tinyurl.com/blended eTech. That will take you straight to this PowerPoint as a shared Google Doc that I have up there. See if I can pick up where I left off. Okay, so that was one example, and I kind of want to give time for questions at the end. I don't know how I'm doing on time. I'm actually right about where I wanted to be. These are some concerns that were addressed by our teachers. How do they know that they've even done it if you just post it? And the answer is you don't unless you're doing some activity following the class that makes it readily obvious, or unless you have some assessment online that lets you know. When I do like the Ultimate Boot CD that I was just showing you, the first thing we did was go out in the classes and start testing. If you didn't watch the video, it was obvious. You came right to me and said, Mr. Paul, okay, I didn't watch the video. I don't know what we're doing. Okay? So even though I had them put their name in, I already knew who didn't watch the video, right? Because I looked and gave points for everybody to fill it out, but it's fairly obvious. So we use responses, different assessments to try to track it. Moodle in general, as long as the student's logged in, when they view the video, I can see that they viewed the video, which is why we try to link everything into our learning management system, because most learning management systems have some report function that will let you see if your students went to it, even if it's not graded. There are other things out there that a lot of teachers have access to. If you've got Progress Book, you can post YouTube video links. You can link to your playlists just as easily. Yeah, I'm not going to give you a report if the kid went to it, but you can still make your content accessible if you don't have a learning management system, which is why I suggest using a playlist for each chapter. And then in that section, you can just have a link to the playlist. One time you put it up, and then as you add videos, the playlist just changes when they go to the link. You don't want to go and link to every video. I don't want to go and link to every video. I just want a playlist. Yeah.
Can you show me again on YouTube how to do that playlist?
How to make a playlist?
Yeah.
Sure, I can show you how to make a playlist. I'm going to go over my last thing, and then I'm done anyway. So another concern was privacy. YouTube does have privacy settings. You can have it totally private so nobody can see your video. You can have it so only people on a certain email list can see your video. So if you've got Google Apps for Educators and you have a spreadsheet of your students' email accounts and you record a student project, obviously you don't want to post that for everybody to see, but you could easily post that private to this list and have it so only your students can see. So you do have those options. Now, as far as the question, how to make a YouTube playlist, basically you have to log into YouTube first.
And you don't have your kids like follow on YouTube, like whatever it's called.
Some of them do. Some of them are watchers. Some of them aren't. They don't have to. And honestly, some of my kids said they don't like doing that because then they see the video from every class pop up and they get an email that I posted something that I'm watching and they're like, I'm not in that class. I don't want to know. I'm like, well, you don't have to. So I'm going to go to our YouTube account. I'm logged into my Google Apps for Education account and I'm going to go to YouTube. I thought when I went wired I would speed up, but that didn't really make a big change.
Doing YouTube, do you have huge problems like ours watch YouTube because of the bandwidth issues? And we have one-to-one business, so every kid has a laptop, and YouTube is blocked for those purposes. Have you had years ran into that?
We haven't, and that's, to me, that's a classroom management issue. I do have the ability to block YouTube, and in fact, there are some classes where the teacher said, I don't want YouTube in my classroom, so I have an Active Directory script that blocks YouTube in that classroom. So I have a script that some classrooms run. If a teacher says, I don't want YouTube in my room, YouTube will not work in their room. And in fact, the K through 4 has said they don't want YouTube. So right now, YouTube is not working on any of the student computers in the K through 4 building. And then from there on up, it's selective by teacher. The policy is that if you're on YouTube that I assigned, or I can give you an immediate detention, and they know that. Is it still a problem from time to time? Yes. And on the tablets in general, I had to block Pandora and Netflix because of the bandwidth issue, because kids were on Pandora. They were just streaming away on that tablet as they were in every single class, and it wasn't as much a bandwidth as it was a battery issue. It was by fourth block, their tablets are dead. And I'm like, it can't be dead. Mine lasts 2 days, that I'm using. But it ended up, that's what it was. And as soon as I killed Pandora, we haven't had any complaints about the batteries being dead. So, but Pandora, from our cite from what Swoka was saying was a bigger problem than YouTube has been as far as bandwidth. So let me switch my resolution so we can see the whole screen too. The act of uploading is really easy. In fact, well, I'll leave it recording right now. I have to make sure I'm signed in. That's not me. That's something else. I don't know what that is. And I have two YouTube accounts. I have one for my teaching stuff, and I have one for as a tech coordinator. If I want to make a playlist, I just go here to Video Manager. And then over on the left-hand side, once I go there, you're going to see playlists. Right now it's on highlighted uploads, and it's showing all the uploads that I have. If I go to playlists, I can just go over here and say, I'm going to be honest, it's the buttons. Oh, they were right there. New playlist right up top. So if I click new playlist, it just pops up right here. I can say chapter 9. I don't actually think that's what chapter 9's over. And I could put a description in there if I wanted to, and then I click that create the playlist. Now every time I upload, if I go to upload something, there's a little box in the top right that I can immediately assign it to a playlist. So I can click upload, say what playlist it's on, and go to the next section of what I'm teaching. And it generally uploads pretty fast. Occasionally, if I do a ginormous video, like this one's going to be pretty long, it's going to be 45 minutes long, it might take 4 or 5 minutes. But even then, it doesn't really lag my computer. I don't even notice that I'm doing it. I just minimize that tab while I'm going on with whatever I'm doing. So it's pretty easy. And you can see down here, it doesn't have that increase your size anymore. It just goes away as soon as you've done it. So all I have to do is click on upload. I could go to a video. I don't know if I have any in my documents. I don't. I just, oh wait, let me see my video now. I just reformatted this PC, so. But in general, it's pretty easy. And if you are a smartboard district and use Smart Recorder, I will tell you that the default video format on smartboard is not the one you want to use. The default one on smartboard, if I left it on that, I'm going to go ahead and hit stop here in a second, it would take almost as long to save the file as I recorded the file. If I changed it to the other format, you'll see this 43-minute video is going to